you guys?
Good.
Surprise! Congratulations. You are our next My County Links Impactful Rippler, which you have no idea. I know that. So we're going to give you a minute to gather your thoughts, and then we'll get our video, and we'll have a little talk back and forth, and we'll explain it better. So
Okay, awesome.
okay, so here is our next recipient. This is our Miss Charlie Pope. She is My County Links next Impactful Rippler recipient. So we're going to let her gather her thoughts, and then we'll come back.
Awesome.
Okay? Hi friends, it's Tanya here with My County Link, and today we're announcing our next Impactful Rippler. Now, if you've been following us, you know an Impactful Rippler is just not a do-gooder. We love everyone to do good, but an Impactful Rippler is somebody who really makes a difference in our community and ultimately in our world. So today, we have announced our next Impactful Rippler recipient, and it's going to be Miss Charlie Pope. So we're going to talk to her a little bit here in a second. But first, I want to thank those who have come alongside of us and has helped us with this program. So we've got the Village Green, we've got Cheryl Sheshed, we've got Biller Stamps and Engraving, we have Heather Swerdig with Inside Out Coaching, we've got Keller's Grain and Feed, and we have Spirit Medical is our people who come alongside of the businesses to help us with our Impactful Rippler. So we give everybody a fun, what'd you call this? Like a thermos? What do you call these? A tumbler? Yes, we have cute little tumblers that we do. So they have the Impactful Rippler on here, and they have the My County Link on the other side, and then we also give a keychain. So we're going to delve in, and we're going to talk a little bit about why you are our next Impactful Rippler. So tell us a little bit about, I guess it's sort of kind of, it's going to be a little bit of a follow-up, sort of.
Yeah.
Because you were chosen because you are an advocate for mental health.
Correct.
So you've gone to Washington, D.C. We're going to talk a little bit about that. You said you got to talk to both sides. You got to talk to the House of Representatives. You also got to talk on the Senate side.
Yes.
And then also a little bit about who you are. So before we delve into that core part of it, tell us a little bit about who you are. Like, where do you go to school? What grade are you in? Activities, that kind of thing.
Well, I am a junior at the Greenville Senior High, and I am very passionate about art and theater, and just, I like to think that I'm very involved in the community.
I would say you are, yes.
I try to be supportive of all of my clubs and my interests. So I'm in the theater club, I'm in the French club, I'm currently the president of the art club this year, which we have some really exciting things coming up, by the way. Side note.
So we should watch for that, right?
Yes,
Okay.
correct. I'm also involved in sports. The tennis season just concluded for Lady Wave. Woo. I also am very passionate about animals. So we have horses at home, and I've grown up with horses and animals my entire life. And I'm just very passionate about all sorts of things.
Yes, which is, I think actually helps you be a well-rounded young lady myself, because I think the more things that sometimes we're involved, we also get to understand other people, right? Which is kind of where your passion sort of.
It's very interesting to see all the different types of people that flock to different communities, and just people wanting to be part of communities in general.
Because it's huge, right? That's one of the whole thing of what My County Link here does, and the whole thing is we want to build our community up and make it strong, and especially our youth, because we want our youth to not only go and do great things, but we want them to come back to this community, right, to make our community even better.
Right.
So I know with the horses and stuff, you're involved in 4-H,
Correct.
but you're also on a YITA team, right?
Correct.
So tell us a little about that.
So the YITA team is basically where you are on a team of equestrian riders, and you will travel to where the show will be, sort of the same way that you would travel to a sport. And instead of bringing your own horse and doing a show and competing that way, each team brings a certain number of horses. Essentially, all the horse names are put into a hat and drawn at random, and you are not allowed to ride the horse before entering the show ring. So it's a very good way to display the skill of the rider.
Yes.
And not the skill of the horse.
That is correct. Also, I wanted to tie that in because, you know, when we talk about mental health and so forth, horses are great therapy for people, and there's a lot of resources for that, for people to reach out for that too. So let's delve back into the bill that you went to do. What are you set out to accomplish with this?
So, personally, my main goal is just to help break the stigma that is around mental health.
Okay.
And so many people, and I've seen this, and just so many people are affected by mental health struggles. It touches everyone.
Right.
And we really don't think of it that way. So really what I want is for people to be able to talk about their feelings and their struggles, and to feel accepted and open enough that that can be something that's safe to do in the community and
Right.
with older people and anyone, because we tend to think that, like, oh, this is a person from a different group than I'm a part of. They're not going to understand my viewpoint. But really, this is something that I think everyone agrees is something important that needs to be talked about, but no one is talking about it.
Right. Right.
So what I really want to do is to just get people to be comfortable and to know that it's okay not to be okay.
Right, and it's good for somebody to have a place to reach out to.
Right.
So I think that's the whole part, like whether it be in the schools or whether it be at home or whether it be in the community with somebody or a certain group that they're involved in, knowing that they can actually just reach out for even sometimes compassion and understanding can almost stop before somebody goes deeper, right?
Exactly.
So there's all types of things. So when we talked a little bit earlier and some other things, you had mentioned when you went down to, was it Children's? Is that where
Yes.
you had gone to?
Yes.
That also the lack of, they don't have enough staffing, they don't
Correct.
have enough beds. So sometimes when, whether it be children or adults or whatever age that someone reaches out, sometimes that help you had mentioned sometimes can take 2 to 3 weeks, and sometimes A, it could be too late, or B, it also puts them deeper where it takes longer to get them to where they're back to feeling themselves.
And it's discouraging too.
Sure.
When you are struggling and you need help, then you need to be able to get help. So yeah, exactly like what you mentioned. Like when I was hospitalized, there were some kids who had been admitted, but there weren't enough rooms, and they were in just the normal, like the emergency rooms, hospital beds, which isn't
not what they needed. Yeah.
What they needed, or
but it's what they had.
It's all that was available. So really the only way to fix that, beyond obviously expanding and getting more rooms and getting more beds, is helpful. But what really tackles the problem is we need more child psychiatrists, we need more therapists, we need to bridge the gaps so that it doesn't get to crisis.
Right.
Which is
be proactive instead of reactive, right?
Exactly.
And you had mentioned that becoming a therapist, becoming a therapist is not easy, right?
Extremely difficult.
It's there's some pathways that maybe could, with the bill especially that you're looking at,
Mm-hmm.
it would maybe, I don't want to say eliminate ways, because they have to go through certain
Mm-hmm.
schooling and so forth, but maybe, like you said, bridge that gap to where it doesn't take so long, so it's more of an interesting field for someone to go to.
Yes.
Because you had mentioned sometimes they have to go and get not paid for a year or two sometimes, and that's not always feasible.
Correct.
For somebody, especially in this
especially with someone who, if you have someone from a lower income who is extremely passionate, maybe if you have someone with lived experience who wants to get into the field but they don't have the financial resources, they can't help, and there's no way for them to offer any sort of professional help, just because it's that gap. There's no bridge.
Mm-hmm.
There's too many hoops to jump through, and we just need to eliminate some of those hoops, because frankly it's ridiculous.
Well, and it causes, like you said, it causes the crisis though, because now we don't have enough people,
Right.
And then you've got, let's say, so we're talking more with children per se. We know it's all ages, but when we speak of children, then at those homes, the parents, the grandparents, the family, they don't know how to help, and sometimes they can say the wrong thing, but it's all out of love, but not being able to get their child, grandchild, whomever, to a professional is where that gap needs to be stopped.
Exactly.
So you went to Washington, D.C., so
Correct.
we'll kind of come back around to what we're going to do tomorrow night, but tell us, what would you say was your favorite thing at Washington?
It was, honestly, it's going to sound very cheesy, but it was...
Sometimes cheesy is just good, you know?
It was just getting to feel like I was doing something that was actually
like an impactful rippler, perhaps.
Yeah, something that I felt like might actually go somewhere.
Yes, yes.
Like I'm not just talking out to the void. Like I was
You're being heard.
speaking to people, and I was sitting down in meetings, and they were sitting and they were listening to me, and I got to talk to congressmen and representatives. I think I had 7 congressional meetings.
You were busy while you were there. That's
It
cool.
was a lot. It was
That
very
is cool, though.
It was very busy, but I wouldn't have changed a thing about it.
Okay, so also in going to Washington, D.C., that was because you were an ambassador with Children's.
Correct.
So they were sending other representatives there for different health type of things that they were talking to different areas of health, I'll say. But you were the representative for the mental health side of things.
Yes.
And that's also then been invited you to tomorrow night
Yes.
to speak at the University of Dayton because Coach Grant is the men's basketball coach, and him and his wife had lost their daughter to suicide. And so they are doing what we'll call like kind of like a town hall meeting tomorrow night
Yes.
where anybody can come, and there's going to be doctors and different people speaking, but you are going to be the youth, if you will,
Correct.
to talk about that. So tell us about that.
Yes, so I will be a part of the panel, again, more on the patient side, just for some sense of relatability, I guess. And really what it's going to be is the whole thing is a spread the awareness fundraiser sort of event, and there's going to be a panel, which is where I come in, that will have just open for any questions that anyone may have regarding mental health or
Whatever that
anything
yeah,
anyone wants to say.
Sure.
Really,
Sure. And that'll be nice too, because there again, that's where that I'll say that again, the rippling effect happens because somebody's going to relate to you out there.
Right.
And whether it's exactly the same thing that you went through, that they're going through, that part doesn't matter. It's the fact that you're going to be able to share your side as a patient side, and somebody out there, whether it be another child or an adult or family member, they're going to be able to connect with that, and that's what creates that conversation. Because sometimes it's a conversation that just needs to get
that's the goal.
started, right? And then, if I understood correctly, then over the weekend, UD and OSU is going to have a fundraiser game. And that
Yes.
money is going to go probably back into a certain fund for such a thing, correct?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So, is there anything else that you want to tell us? Anything that you think us as a community that we need to get behind and rally something here for you?
I think we've just about covered it all. I think the main thing is just don't be afraid to talk to anyone if you're struggling.
Right, reach out. So there's lots of different help resources, even right here in Darke County.
Right.
But there's also nationwide type help that they can have. So thank you so much for coming. Congratulations.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, thanks for watching, and stay tuned, and we'll be announcing our next Impactful Rippler soon.